Hey guys, Sean here, and welcome to the qualifying watch-along for the 2026 British Grand Prix at, of course, Silverstone, if no one's mentioned that already. How are we all doing? It's been a while, I haven't seen you for 2 hours, something like that, so, you know, good to see you all again. I hope you're all well and having a good Saturday thus far. Looking forward to qualifying. If you caught the sprint and you weren't here for the sprint watch-along, let me know what you thought of it down in the chat, and we'll have a look at that. I'll read some of your comments and some of your feedback on that one. I think good one on the vote that we did, didn't it? So not too bad, I suppose. But yeah, if you want to get your hellos in chat, I'll come and do some shout outs in just a moment. But before we get into that one, let's run through the result from the sprint earlier today. An interesting sprint. A lot of the old yo-yo racing, which is, I think, what we expected coming into this weekend. I don't think anyone's shocked by what we saw in the sprint, but good to see Ferrari competitive, and you know, at least we got some sort of action. So Kimi Antonelli took his first ever sprint win, and so now he is the youngest sprint winner. Lewis Hamilton, of course, who started from pole. I saw a stat on, or Stuart sent me a stat actually from Reddit that said Lewis Hamilton is now the Ferrari driver with the most sprint poles. I mean, what is the point in a stat like that? Come on, people. Lando Norris P3, George Russell P4, and Charles Leclerc P5. Actually, that fight between particularly Russell, Leclerc, Verstappen, and Piastri was interesting at times. Let's put it that way. Piastri was P7. Liam Lawson 8th and keeps 8th place. Now, if you didn't see it, he was investigated for a very late and we felt naughty move to defend from Isack Hadjar. However, the stewards did investigate it. They had a word with both drivers. Both of the drivers felt that enough room was left, and so contact was avoided, and both were happy with that to get waved away as a driver warning and nothing more. So no penalty for Liam Lawson, just a warning. Let me know what you think of that. So Isack Hadjar ends up P9, so Lawson did get that point. Arvid Lindblad in 10th place with Pierre 11th, Franco Colapinto 12th, Nico Hülkenberg 13th, Gabriel Bortoleto 14th, 15th for Ollie Bearman, 16th for Esteban Ocon, 17th for Carlos Sainz, 18th for Alex Albon. Bottas of the Valtteri nature was 19th, Alonso 20th, Lance Stroll 21st, and Sergio Perez 22nd. He did get a penalty for that contact with Alonso earlier in the race that we never saw on the live streams, on the live feed. So that was a little bit annoying, but hey ho, I haven't seen a replay yet of it. I did find out why Lando Norris was mardy, maybe the wrong word, frustrated after the results. Happy with P3 from what I've seen, but it was the frustrations we sort of speculated on about the fuel issue and having to fuel save during a sprint, and he wasn't happy about that and wants that understandably to be rectified as quickly as possible by McLaren. So hopefully we don't see that in the race tomorrow, but that was why he was a little bit frustrated when he got out of the car earlier. Apologies as well, by the way, this afternoon. It wasn't too bad this morning. My hay fever is playing up rotten this afternoon, so if I sound a bit more nasally than usual, then that'll be why. So apologies for that if I start sniffing. I'll try not to do too much of it, but let's see what you're all saying in chat. Hater Quinn again says, and thank you for your comment, by the way, on the poster. That's really lovely of you. I really appreciate that, mate, so thank you. Says, welcome back, Sean. 2 times in one day. It's not even a race. We lucky for you. We fortunate fans. Bravo. Thank you very much, mate. Sab Mariners fan says, hello, Sean. Good morning. Can I just express how shite the McLaren livery is? It looks like someone started a Jaguar livery at 4 p.m. on a Friday. Fud says, I wonder how the McLaren livery would look with papaya rather than green. Have a chat with Sab Mariners fan. He might be up for that one. Hater Pascal says, hello, Sean and chat. I hope everyone is doing well. Missed the stream this morning as I got my new blower. All works fine with it. It was a decent sprint race. There was some good battles. Hater Tim again. Hope you well, mate. Hater Marta says it's been quick BQ shop and harvest to lunch. Or is that B&Q shop? Sorry, I'm having a moment, Marta. Ignore me. A quick B&Q shop and a harvest to lunch. What did you buy from B&Q? I'm intrigued. Corner Wookie Kieran says, totally forgot about the sprint. There you go. That's Kieran's opinions of the sprint. RC says, Sean, why not live from Silverstone? Because I don't get enough super chats, mate. You know, there you go. Hey to Annette as well. Once again, hope you're having a good time and I enjoyed your bit of downtime in between the streams. And hello to everybody watching as well. What do you want to talk about as we build up to the sprint? There's not much really to wrap up from the sprint. I mean, just that one for Liam Lawson. Little bit surprised that didn't get some sort of penalty, to be honest, given what we've seen in the past. At the same time, if Isack Hadjar's gone in there and sat down and said, I'm fine with it, he left the space, no problem, then I suppose it doesn't really matter, does it? They've sort of let it go now. So, yeah, in the moment, I think Hadjar probably had a different opinion, but maybe watching back, there was enough space. Martin Brundle made the argument that I sort of floated during the watch-along, that maybe Lawson is just going for the corner, but then as Jensen Button said, it's quite an early turn-in, so yeah. It's a weird one. It's another one of those again that if he got a penalty, I probably would have been fine with it. The fact he hasn't, okay, also fine. It was for 1 point in the sprint race. Yeah, there you go. That's kind of my take on that one. And as for the others that we saw, we covered those when we were live anyway, so that's all good. There's been some chatter again about the Middle Eastern races. Don't know if you've seen that this week. I saved that for today's quali stream rather than a sprint stream, because I wanted to talk about it for a little while. 19 minutes to start a quali. Let's see if I can do this ramble in less than 19 minutes. It'd be quite impressive, wouldn't it? You know what I'm like. But yeah, apparently there are a few options on the table, really a couple of options on the table. There's a hope that Abu Dhabi, Qatar can go ahead and that Bahrain will slot into that gap between Azerbaijan and Singapore, which I'm not one to sit and sort of get smug too much and do the whole I told you so, but I made that suggestion back in the winter when they first got, or back in the spring when they first got cancelled, and a few people said that I was an idiot for even suggesting it, but apparently that is an official thing now. They're trying to squeeze Bahrain in between Azerbaijan and Singapore. It's almost like after 30 odd years I can look at a calendar and see where the gaps are. It's not really that complicated. It was the only viable gap for it in the post summer break period, a Bahrain or a Saudi slotting in between Azerbaijan and Singapore. There was nowhere else for it to go without creating a 4 races on the bounce or 5 races on the bounce. So I don't think it's not me with secret inside information. It's just me engaging my brain and seeing where it would work. So there you go. But that is apparently a thing. I know we're trying not to get into geopolitics, and obviously the most important thing, we always have to say this, is that we want the conflict to end and all of that, but from our little weird F1 bubble, looking purely at it from a selfish racing point of view, it would be nice to get the races on, but there is a hope that things will remain as peaceful as they're ever going to be. But then we've had recent incidents that show just how quickly things can escalate. So there is a genuine threat that we lose Abu Dhabi and Qatar. From a sporting point of view, couldn't care less. I hate them both, so that's fine. The tracks are terrible. But there you go. But from a commercial point of view, F1 want as many races as they can get. What I did find interesting, though, is if the decision is we're not going to go to the Middle East at all for the rest of this season, so Bahrain doesn't get rescheduled, we don't get Qatar, we don't get Abu Dhabi, that Portimao might be the season finale in December to replace that final at Yas Marina, because... And I'm assuming nothing's been explicitly said. It's been speculated. But I am assuming that that's because their contracts with broadcasters this year are 21. When it was the pandemic, the contract was 16 races, which is why we got 17. And they still managed to do that, which I say to this day was still an impressive feat. But I think the contract is probably 20, 21 races, somewhere around there. So if it's 20, they want some breathing room. So they're going to go with the 21st, which would mean we'd have a season finale of Las Vegas followed by Portimao, which is, a bit random in some ways, but infinitely better than a finale at Abu Dhabi, in my opinion. Portimao would be great to finish the season at. But Stuart made the point last week. I think that it sounds like the decision's going to be made in the summer break, or at least a bulk of that decision is to be made in the summer break. But I think we really do need this to be decided, looking at it from a team's perspective, to be decided before we really kick off this final leg of the season, which is Zandvoort all the way to what would be Abu Dhabi, which is going to be a lot of races in very few weeks that they're going to cram in there. It needs to be decided, really, because it would be ridiculous to get to, again, using Stuart's example, get to a race where we think it's 5 races to the end of the season, but then it turns out that we've actually only got 3 because 2 have been cancelled. And what if that crowns a world champion? It has to be decided soon. And I think it will be. It sounds like the summer break which makes sense, is the right time to make that call. But rest assured, if Formula One can get Bahrain in between Azerbaijan and Singapore and can get Qatar and Abu Dhabi to go ahead, they absolutely bloody will. They do not suspend or postpone or cancel, whatever word you want to use, races without trying everything to make sure they go ahead. So I'll come to that in a minute, Sad Mariners fan. I saw the first few words there. I completely agree. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I thought Saudi would be the one that got put on because I think they pay a little bit more than Bahrain. Again, don't quote me on that. But at the same time, the FIA and FOM might look at it, FOM really specifically, might look at it and say, well, Bahrain would have been first. We postponed that, so that would have been the first. So we're going to give Bahrain the slot. If they don't want it, Saudi could have it or whatever. But I wouldn't mind a triple header of Azerbaijan, Bahrain, and Singapore. That's 3 very different tracks and 3 races. It can be a bit ridiculous sometimes. So I quite fancy that one after the end of the European leg. But like I say, that is the only spot you could reschedule one of those races, because you've got triple headers in the Americas. You've got the triple header of Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi at the end. You've got Brazil in there. It just, there's no space anywhere. So that is the only spot it works. But yeah, I'll read the comment. Sad Mariners fan says the only Middle East race I'm sad losing is Bahrain. The rest can lead the calendar for a permanent race in Hockenheim, Spa, Sepang, and Portimao. We've got Portimao back next year, so that's good. Turkey, yeah, that's coming back next year, I believe, as well. So we've got some good returning tracks, but I of those 4, Bahrain, Saudi, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi, I would happily lose 3 of them and keep Bahrain. I think Bahrain, again, looking at it from a purely racing perspective, I think Bahrain is the better track. I get why some people love Saudi, because it is a bit bonkers as a track, and it is quite unique in a way as a street track at the moment. But then we've got, Maddering, that's coming this year. We've got other proposed street tracks elsewhere, and all of a sudden we seem to be following a template, like when Herman Tilke did Sepang, and then everything seems to follow a similar template. That feels like what's happening with street tracks now. They all seem to go down the same road, not the same road, not literally, down the same route. So I like that Saudi's quite unique, but I'd take Bahrain every day of the week. It's particularly since it became a night race, and as long as we agree, never, ever to use the endurance layout again, I'm fine. And I love the suggestion that somebody made, possibly during testing, that we guarantee every year that Bahrain is a sprint weekend and the sprint is held around the outer loop, and we have the main event around the main track, which logistically might be difficult, but I still think that'd be amazing if we lived in an ideal world. But then if we lived in an ideal world, we'd have Hockenheim, we'd have Sepang, we'd have Istanbul Park, we'd have Portimao, we'd have dare I say, a second trip to the UK somewhere like Brands Hatch would be amazing. Obviously not going to happen, but that would be amazing. We'd be back at the Nürburgring. We'd still be at Imola for one reason or another. So, yeah, Fuji as well was great. So there's lots of ideal world scenarios that are just never going to happen. But we can dream. We're allowed to dream. You're allowed, and I keep saying, and we never really do it, but I'd love to sit down one evening with you guys and Jonty, maybe in the winter, in the run up to Christmas or something, or in January when it's all really boring and we're waiting for things to happen, to sit down. I'll put a graphic up and we'll do like a tier list, but we'll build our own ideal 24 race F1 calendar. We'll do that one winter because it'd be a lot of fun, I think. So, sorry, that wasn't too bad. That could have been 19 minutes. It took me 10, but we'll get there. We will get there. Or it felt like it took me 10. If Antonelli wins the title because of this due to the cancellations, do you need to provide an asterisk next to the title win? No, I think for all and again, I kind of steal this a bit from Stuart's point on the sprints and when titles potentially are won in sprint races, as we saw in Max Verstappen. If we got to 5 races from the end and cancelling 2 made Antonelli champion, he was probably going to win it anyway. So it's not so bad. If we got to Las Vegas and Antonelli was 49 points clear, or even if we got to Las Vegas and he was only 25 points clear and the last 2 races got cancelled, that's worth having the conversation about, because somebody could have still won it. But I think by that point of the season he would. But I don't think they'll allow that to happen. I think they'll make the decision in the summer break, and if it's not communicated publicly, I think the teams will be told what is happening. But there are options. I still, sorry, I keep bringing it up. I still stand by it. I still think they could have got a race on in April. I think if they really wanted to, they could have sorted something with Imola. They could have sorted something with Portimao. They could have sorted something with somebody, even if it meant that it was a reduced crowd because you couldn't sell all the tickets. I think they could have done. The problem is, in order to do that, they would have had to cancel Bahrain and Saudi and lose their money guaranteed. Because don't forget, don't believe all the chatter. The races are still on. Saudi and Bahrain still have a race this year. They've not been cancelled. That's when the money disappears. So that's why Imola didn't happen. If Imola had come in and said, I'll give you 100 million, then it would have had 2 races there in April. I guarantee it. The only Chris Welsh says, I just sub, mate. F1 fan myself. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you for subbing. If you are new, please do subscribe. Live for quali, and then, of course, live for the race reaction tomorrow with Chain Bear, and then live every race weekend. So, and going full-time with the channel very, very soon as well. So lots more content, including videos. I know. Videos aren't a preview. They're going to be arriving soon as well. So appreciate that. I'll call you Chris rather than the only Chris Welsh. Call you Chris. Appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much for joining our weird and wonderful and wacky and sometimes unnecessarily grumpy community. And that's just me. You haven't even met the chat yet. Hey to Rocket Raccoons, member for 4 months, says, good morning, my F1 unk, and hope everyone in chat is having a great day today. Let's go Hamilton. Love from the Lone Star State, like always. Happy 4th of July, Rocket Raccoon, and everybody else as well who's celebrating stateside. Or if you're celebrating elsewhere, maybe you're celebrating the UK, because that's when we got rid of them. I don't know. I'm joking. The entire US audience has just turned off and unsubscribed. I don't mean that. But yeah, if you are celebrating today, have fun, and thank you for joining me. Actually, you could be having a barbecue, but here we are. Baxter's good, thank you, Craig. He's just been to the vet today. He's nothing to worry about. Needed some tablets for his dog things, fleas and ticks and that. So he went off to have that done, and he's booked in for his jab, so he'll be mardy at that in August. But yeah, he's okay. He's all right, bless him. He's cooled down a lot from the other week. And very quickly, sorry if you're new, this will mean nothing to you. Do you remember I said I spent £40 on a cooling mat for him for the hot weather? He doesn't sleep on it, so it's now down here on the floor, and I've got my feet on it, and you have no idea how much cooler it makes me feel. Not like hip, cool as in it cools my feet down, so that makes the rest of me feel cool. It's brilliant. Best 40 quid I ever spent, just to show it was supposed to be for the dog. Bloody thing. Side note, can we ban Imola from the F1 calendar until the cars no longer have wings? No, I refuse. I want Imola on the calendar forever. I mean, it's gone now, isn't it? But Masters videos, bloody hell, calm down. I know, right? I want to get back into making videos rather than just streams, but I also kind of just enjoy this a lot more. So, but I don't want it to just be a live stream channel, because you kind of put yourself into a corner then. So, a lot going on that you don't need to know about, and some work to earn pennies and that. So I've not been able to do this full time properly, but I will be doing very soon. So I'm excited for that. Go back to the old F1 word days, but here. I've heard those cooling mats are good to sleep on. Jonty bought 2 big ones apparently, and he sleeps on them, or him and his partner sleep on them. So, but they are for dogs. But I imagine if you were to buy a human version of it, you'd be paying 3 times that price at least. So it's not too bad on that. It works. They work. It's like a little gel. It's quite weird, but yeah, it's cooling. Anyway, slightly off topic. As we wait for the music to kick in, we'll start getting things set up, and I'll try and remember to set up the right screen today, so I'm not giving you the wrong tyre information. Which is, as they just show, Lewis Hamilton's 3-wheeled win, of course. All those years. When was that? It feels like forever ago, doesn't it? But it wasn't. I did see out the corner of my eye that the British drivers are doing fish and chips and serving fish and chips like people that have never served fish and chips in their life. But anyway, that's the way it is. off topic on Formula Sean. That never happens, says Fud. I know, it's rare, isn't it? Why did the US spell it cancelled with 1 L, but the UK spells cancelled with 2? Because we gave you the extra L in 70s. Hey, I was going to get a really interesting fact actually, but I couldn't remember the facts. I'm just gonna take the dig from Sad Mariners fan. Well, do you know what? You can keep your country. I don't want it anyway. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. My partner's a journalist. I've been told this, so I should know it. It should be ingrained in my head. But I think that the reason that the US spell a lot of things like aluminium incorrectly is something to do with printing presses and having like limited space. So they just took letters out like they thought weren't needed. So like color, for example, COLOR is missing a U. But apparently that's to do with having limited space on printing press and stuff like that. I might be wrong on that. I will go and double check that later, and then I'll let you know tomorrow if I was right or not, if someone reminds me. It's something like that. It's actually really interesting history. It's not just people refusing to be awkward. Yeah, so there you go. I don't know how true it is, but that's what I was told. There you go. Anyway, welcome to Formula Sean, where we talk about anything but Formula 1, apparently. Cooling mats, fish and chips, and printing press. Something like that. Craig says, as a printer, you are wrong. I don't know then. Maybe I'm wrong. Hang on. I'll tell you what. I'll message my other half live on stream and see if I get a response. What's the reason the US spell everything wrong, incorrectly? I'll probably won't get a response, but it's funny to do it anyway. Printing presses, ? Or priming. I hate autocorrect. Very, very quickly, I want to get everything set up. I've asked the question. I may never get a response. We will find out. Anyway. As always, no on-track footage for obvious copyright reasons. I'm not going to have the stream taken down because I'm stealing footage from FOM. It's not worth the risk. But live timing is, and the track map and everything is provided by the awesome folks over at Multiviewer for F1. So thank you, as always, to those for allowing us to use them on the stream. Really makes it a better experience rather than just you having to look at my face staring at a screen, ignoring you all. So at least we can look at all this together. So thank you very much to those guys. Link in the description if you would like to customize your own stream. I use it all the time now. It's not just a stream thing. I am always opening Multiviewer for F1 now because it just makes such a difference to the viewing experience. Link in the description. Like I say, it is free to use, free to download, but you will need an F1 TV subscription of some sort. F1 TV access, absolutely fine, no problem. There we go. That was it. As an Australian, I speak English proper, says says Craig. Me felt English? That's impossible. One of my favourite Ralph Wiggum quotes. I'm going to keep on that phone now. I will find out what the reason is. I'll get a load of comments later. People get really angry about it. Like, oh, you're so wrong. It's like, oh, does it matter? I just thought it was an interesting fact if it's true, or an interesting theory if true. We shall see. I'll believe Craig because he's a printer. Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't. It really doesn't. It's something I've always felt. Like, I used to get a lot of grief for the way I would pronounce Daniel Kvyat. I used to say Daniel Kvyat. I used to get a lot of grief for it. And it's like, I think you'll find it's Daniel Kvyat. And then when I say Daniel Kvyat, it's Daniel Kvyat. And it's like, look, I get it, but you clearly know who I'm talking about, so why does it matter? As long as I know what you're talking about, it doesn't really matter. But I do draw the line at aluminium. That's the correct thing. Okay, that's it. Happy Independence Day is ultimate. Danny K will do. Yeah, I like that one. It made printing cheap by getting rid of extra letters. Yeah, is what Sad Mariners fans. Oh, cheaper. Cheaper might make more sense. In fact, that might even be what the other half said. Cheaper rather than space. Yeah, cheaper makes more sense anyway in my head now you've said that. Yeah, why would space matter? Matter. Criticizing other people, I go matter. Anyway, we are 45. How are we here? What is happening? Welcome to the channel if you're new. I imagine Chris has already unsubscribed and run away. I wouldn't blame him. It's weird. But we're 30 seconds away from quali. Looking forward to this one, actually. I really want to see who's done what in the gap. You know, who's managed to make the difference versus yesterday's quali to today's quali now that Part Fermi's been opened up. I can't imagine they'll have done much to Kimi Antonelli's car because that was only 11 thousandths off pole position and won the sprint. So clearly they've got good one-lap pace and race pace. Surely they've done something to George's car because he was quicker in the sprint than he was yesterday in quali, which is good. So he's got good race pace. But intrigued to see who's done what. Can Hamilton make it 2 out of 2? We are green for qualifying at the British Grand Prix. Q1, Q2 and Q3, of course. As always, we'll lose 6. I'm still getting used to that. From this session, 6 from the next one. And then we'll have a top 10 shootout on one of those. We'll get pole position for tomorrow. And hopefully, no red flags and no major investigations that take 6 hours afterwards for no apparent reason. I know I'm going to get told off by people for saying this, but I should be clear to anybody who's new. If I'm poking fun, it is just fun. I'm not being nasty. I'm not that kind of person. So if I've offended anyone in the US for the way you pronounce words or the way you write words, it is only a joke. I'm just, it's a bit of fun. It's the world we live in now. I have to be careful. So I will apologise if it's offended anybody because I mock the way you say aluminium. It's fine. Right, cars on track straight away. Bottas, Perez, Sainz, Ocon, Bearman, Stroll, Bortoletto, Alonso, Lindblad, Lawson's heading out as well. So we're ready for this one to look at Oscar Piastri in the garage in that livery that Sab Mariners fan is not happy with. I have to say, I do like it, but I think it's the green bit reminds me more of a Lotus than a Jaguar. But the bit I like about it is kind of the white. I mean, in the renders, it looked pearlescent. I don't know if it is still pearlescent on track, but I really like that element of it. So I like that part of the livery. I do get what you're saying about the green, but I would argue Lotus rather than Jaguar, but then I'm just being pedantic. So there we go. I'll try to sort of pick through your conversations. The McLaren livery is nice. It just does not look like a McLaren, says Connell. Yeah, but I'm not a big papaya fan. Lynched, done. I'm not a big fan of the papaya McLaren liveries. But then I grew up with the red and white Marlboro ones and the West McLarens, and the Vodafone McLarens. So maybe that's why I feel like we're a step down from them. But I guess they've got their identity. So very gusty on the start-finish line, says Bortoletto. Just for your information, that's what he said. Just FYI. I've not eaten a lot of papaya, to be honest, Darcy, so I couldn't tell you about the fruit. I'm sure it's lovely. So, I like exotic fruits, so probably would enjoy it, but I've ordered some more of these today. I've made the logo slightly smaller. This just feels a little bit too, when I look at it, so I've just made it a bit smaller. So I've got some more coming. But yeah. I need to get Jonty one with a light blue, don't I? Yes, Jamie. Yes, Jamie. Agree. From what I remember of the very little papaya I've eaten. Sainz had a big lock-up and gone wide already. So that's good for him, wasting some tyres. Obviously, quite an interesting first session of qualifying this one, because I would imagine a lot of the front runners will run used tyres because we've got not quite so many sets available because it's a sprint. Or a sprint event. Although the sprint's done now, we are on to normal stuff. Jonty has an idea for a shirt, but don't know if they'll do it, lol. I also feel like the way you've lolled that, that's one for WhatsApp rather than the chat. I can't, the thoughts go through my mind, Jonty. I can't. Bearman, purple in the middle sector, but we've not got many laps on the board yet. Perez currently fastest, 32.1. Sainz 33.4. Did have that lockup. I assume that was going to get deleted for track limits, even though he didn't really gain an advantage, did he? But there goes Ocon, 131.648, and then Bearman does a 131.315, 3 tenths quicker than his teammate. They're on new tyres, the top three. Sainz and Hamilton on used tyres, although Sainz's tyres are even more used now. I have massive vibrations on braking, says Charles Leclerc. Yes. Look, I'm not going to stop until Google sort it out. Okay, Google Translate, auto translating through AI in the chat for me. Annette said, "Hiya, Jonty," and that has translated that to Hiya, John T. Now, whether you did that in an accent, Annette, I don't know, and maybe it confused things, but it's just exactly the same thing. But anyway, I'm not going crazy. It does exist, I promise. Brembo sips tea, says Jamie. Yeah. Oh, so it wasn't us after all. Marta's a minute behind. I don't know if you're still listening, Marta. Just maybe a little refresh on the stream just to double check. But I know some people do get quite far behind anyway, because YouTube does weird things depending on where you're watching from for some reason. Here goes Hamilton, then goes second fastest on 1:29.6. So Leclerc's got his own. My tyres are gone by the look of it. A tenth quicker than his teammate there with his vibrating brakes, both on a used set of soft tyres, of course. Hulkenberg on a used medium is on a 1:31.5 in fourth place and ahead of Ocon, who was on a fresh set of softs. So well done, Nico Hulkenberg there. We'll probably need to go again, but why not, eh? Give it a go if you can. Apologies for the fan as well, again, if you can hear that. The cooling mat works, but I still need a little bit of a fan there. It's on as quiet as I can make it. Summer things. Don't worry, it'll be autumn before you know it, and we'll all be wrapped up in blankets again in the UK. It's fine. The hoodie will be out again for streams. We're not seeing much of Hulkenberg, no, Kevin. Or it doesn't feel like we do. But I feel like certainly recent races and I suppose to a point during qualifying, but I don't feel like we see a lot of anybody outside the top four teams sometimes. So I know they've got to focus on the sharp end when there's battles for the win and things like that, but you sort of would be nice to see, you know, Franco Colapinto once a week or something, you know. Just every now and again, don't ask for much. A little bit wide there, coming through Maggots and Beckett's. Down here where all the passing was happening during the sprint. Saw a replay of George's move around the outside of the McLaren at Stowe. I still think that was a really nice overtake. Proper racy. That's what we like to see. Jamie says, who's Franco Colapinto? And AI changed that to who is Franco Colapinto? Because I wouldn't have understood otherwise, to be fair, Jamie. I'd never have understood. Verstappen goes fourth. Norris went third there, 6/10 off. But again, used tyres for the top four: Leclerc, Hamilton, Norris, and Verstappen. Used tyres for Lawson, Antonelli, Russell, as Hadjar goes fifth on a set of used tyres. Yellow flags for George Russell. Russell stopped on track. Russell stopped on track at Luffield. I was listening to that. I think I've got the same. He's in the wall. Is he gonna have to reverse out of there? We're looking picture in picture because apparently, come on, go and have a look at him. I don't know what is that gonna be a red? He's got it going again, as George. So he's gonna get out of there. What damage has he done? I'm gonna take a punt here and say he's spun that. He's back on track. He's got going again. We're watching picture in picture rather than actually looking at... And now we look at him when he's back on the track. Great TV direction, as always. Well done, FOM. Brilliant. But I'm difficult to read through the gravel because he's picking up gravel and it's bumpy anyway. But I wonder if he's had a spin because his tyres looked awful. But there might be damage. Oh, he's got damaged front wing. He's definitely been in the wall. Tyres are... I mean, they look great, don't they? What's happened? So he's coming down the Wellington Straight. He's going to come into turn 6. If there's a corner name there, I always forget it. So he's gone round, puts the throttle down. That's fine. And he's into Luffield. He's just gone deep. He's locked up on the inside and just gone straight on into the gravelly... He's only just touched the wall. He should be okay if he can... He should get that back and then get the front wing changed. It's not a massive contact. It's a lock up on the right front. He's just gone straight into the gravel. Did well not to beach that, and then tags the I just want to just make sure. I don't think there's much damage to that at all. He's just going to touch it with his... The floor might be damaged. It's quite bumpy over there, but I don't think there's any... No, it's just the front wing. Toto's reaction was... but there you go, yeah. So George is okay. Reports from Italy that he has activated his 1-year extension at Mercedes, because I mean he has done a cracking job. So joking. But yeah, no, George is back, and that way, it's going to be the floor, isn't it? That's the question there. Harsh but true, Jamie. Just it's a strange lockup, Jonty, because it's sort of, he wasn't wild on the brakes, was he? He's not gone in there late with the brakes. He looks like he's taking his standard line through there and his standard braking point. There was nothing dramatic to report, and then he just sort of locks up on the right front and off he goes. But strange. Hey ho, it sounds like he repair that front wing, which they can, and get him back out on some new tyres. He'll be fine, but it does put the pressure on this final run. It's just what damage is done to the floor. Is that going to compromise his lap anyway? Neelish says, based on the lockup, I'm guessing it's some strange engine-related braking stuff. Jonty says it kept going forward almost like a stuck throttle for a moment. So there could be a mechanical issue in there that might prevent him going out again, but still got 7 minutes and 20 seconds, so he's got a good 5 minutes before he needs to be out, so he's okay. Perez, provisionally P16. Obviously, we've got Bortoleto needs a lap, Russell needs a lap, so that puts him under pressure there. But Perez was pretty solid in sprint quali yesterday, did a really decent job, so he might be a threat for a surprise Q2. Cape Verde, yeah. That was a shame, wasn't it? Anybody watching the World Cup, thoughts on the disallowed Croatia goal? Set Jonty off if you want. A steering subscription promptly expired. It could have been, yeah, 30-day free period was over, and he forgot to renew. Forgot he cancelled the direct debit. Lawson's coming through now. The final few corners. And there we go, Lawson, 130 flat, exactly a 130. Goes 5th place, so Lindblad 4th and Lawson 5th. Little caveat in there, again, Lindblad, Lawson, Hulkenberg on new soft tyres. Norris, Verstappen, Hadjar on used soft tyres. Russell is on track. Yeah, we lost Australia last night, didn't we? Yeah. England, Mexico is still going to be 1 o'clock in the morning on Monday. That's going to be great. I'll fall asleep midway through it. I'm not bothered, though. It is a really strange lockup. Sorry, I'm Russell, but he's okay, obviously. He's gone back out on track, so he may still get 2 runs in. What's he doing? He's on a fresh set of softs, so maybe not. Very weird. I've never locked up there in my whole career, says George. Cue some nerd on social media going to find a lockup at Luffield from Russell during FP1 4 years ago. Oh, George lied. Gasly impeding, noted. That's all I've got here. Turn 15. One to bear in mind. CPB has a feeling Mexico will win. CPB, we struggled to get past DR Congo, mate. Mexico at altitude. Yeah, no. And I can tell you I'll be devastated. I won't care. There'll be a lot of an angry country, but I'll be kind of like, oh no. Anyway, insert Jeremy Clarkson meme here. Although I tell you what, one thing very quickly, I'll get away from football in a second, but or as it's 4th of July, soccer. There you go. One thing I will say without being soppy is I've really enjoyed chatting on WhatsApp to Jonty during the football. I don't usually get to do that because I just sit and watch it on my own. So it's just been really nice to chat to Jonty, and we're both laughing at the stupidity of some of the decisions and stuff. So, and crazy moments. So just because you're here, Jonty, I've enjoyed that, mate. So, and it's easy for you on stream than message it because it sounds like, oh, hi, mate. Sorry to be weird, but, but yeah, I've enjoyed that. That's Jonty staying up all night and messaging me at 3:50 a.m. for a terrible game that nobody cares about. Are you up? No. So Russell is... He's on a lap. But his first sector is a 29.0. It's not his personal best. I'm pretty sure his middle sector will be a personal best. It is indeed, because his last one, he was in the wall. But yeah, no, he's 6 tenths off of Colapinto, but not an epic first sector. Not bad. A couple of tenths off Leclerc. This does feel a little bit banker lap from George. You watch him go fastest now, I said that. But it feels a little bit like just get this lap on the board, get through, refocus for Q2, and he goes fifth place, 29.985. Piastri, round the final corner, P11, now P5, does displace Russell, but I think Russell should be okay. Russell. I'd be happy with that, CPB, very happy with that, mate. Very, very, very happy with that. Despite the Liverpool ties. Or former ties, I suppose, now. Yeah, I'd be very happy with that. Antonelli. Into Stowe, nicely through there. Not really a great... I mean, it's not bad, even though it's not personal best anywhere. It's not awful. I mean, he was 3 tests down the middle sector, so I suppose that's pretty bad. And then, yeah, doesn't improve, stays on a 129.534, and stays third. What is interesting, and I know that, again, we have to remember used tyres versus new tyres. Isack Hadjar's just gone purple in the middle sector. Verstappen goes second on a 29.549. And Hadjar, round the final corner, goes fastest on a 29.2. Again, we've got to see what the Ferraris do on a fresh set, whether they are going to go out, Ferrari? Do they need to? They're probably not. They look like saving tyres, which could be smart. I can't see them being threatened from the bottom 6 at the moment, but not bad. Yeah. I'll come back to chat in a minute. We're talking football chat, but I'll come back to that in the gap, and we've got another yellow. This one's Franco Colapinto at Maggots and Beckett's, which is either a spin. He looks like he's moving out on the driver tracker, because if that's not a spin, that's a big accident. He has got going, that's fine. He has got going, that's fine. But that has compromised Bearman, I would imagine, just possibly Ocon as well. Bottas might be okay. Kevin says, talk more slowly. You are 2 seconds ahead of me. Okay, Kevin. That wasn't more slowly. That was just deep. 30 seconds to go as they all come across the line. Ocon, only 14th. Here comes Bearman through the final corner on home soil, of course. Goes up into 13th place. I do wonder if Ocon and Bearman may have been compromised by the yellow flag, but it was a single yellow. Doesn't matter, does it? So I'll get back into that. Projected knockout is a 30.3. Lance Stroll, is he going to threaten that 30.3? No. Over the line he goes eventually on a 132.863 and moves ahead of Fernando Alonso. Interesting. Alonso is moving quickly, though. Although down in the first sector on his teammate, Stroll couldn't, could he? He couldn't, could he? Lawson went purple in the first sector. There's Sainz. 13th place for Carlos Sainz. He is through as it stands. Here goes Lindblad to go 5th. Watch Liam Lawson. I know it's only Q1, but he was rapid in that first sector through the final corner now and does go second fastest. Liam Lawson, second fastest, 24 thousandths off Isack Hadjar. Hulkenberg goes 4th. Wow. The track seems to be improving, but also don't forget used tyres in some cases versus new tyres, but still Alonso is out qualified by Lance Stroll for the second time in 372 years. Gabriel Bortoletto goes 12th fastest. What is Sergio Perez going to do? It's a decent lap from Sergio Perez. Stays 20th, a 131.4. But I'm going to say it. First of all, well done to Bottas out qualifying Perez and Stroll for out qualifying Alonso. But I'll put the checkered flag out because I forgot to do it. But the fastest Aston Martin is 1.4 seconds slower than the slowest Cadillac. Ouch. So we have lost from that session. Fernando Alonso 22nd, Lance Stroll 21st, then it's Perez in 20th, Colapinto 19th, Bottas 18th, and Esteban Ocon. Both Williams drivers are through. There is, again, we're looking for a helicopter cam. I mean, come on. Have you not got better camera angles than that? He's lost it in somewhere in Maggots and Beckett's. Here we go, on board. Goodness me. Yeah, a lot of curb on the right, and then he round he goes for the second left. Oh, yeah. That's going to be floor damage. He's not got through, so they can fix that for tomorrow. But, yeah, just a spin. Quite a big spin. The back end getting away. He says, like, I lost it flat, completely lost the rear. Says, oh, airborne. I bet he's got a sore back now. Ocon's been noted for yellow flag infringement. As long as he gave up 0.0000003 seconds, he'll be fine. But yeah, Colapinto out, unfortunately. That was quite a nasty. The spin was, hard enough, but the bouncing over the grass was not pretty, was it at all? But yeah, there you go. Stroll has out qualified Lando. That's the big headline there. Well, actually, no, the big headline is the top four. Again, I know difficult on a sprint weekend to judge Q1. Isack Hadjar fastest from Liam Lawson, Charles Leclerc, and Nico Hülkenberg. I would take that. My partner has messaged me back. Advertising. So yeah, it is cheaper. Advertising. It was cheaper to use, fewer letters. There you go, chat. That's from a real world journalism. Look, if we're going to play the getting English wrong game, I may as well have some fun with it, There you go. That solves that one. Hulkenberg second podium, baby. I can taste it, says CPB. I wanted to read Red Raven's comment. It's football related. Red Raven said, German here. Us being out of the World Cup sadly confuses nobody here. Heads will roll at DFB with Klopp being all but confirmed at this point. So I've already upset Americans, so let's go for it. I'm not generally an England fan. Obviously, if my national team do well, I'm very proud of them. I'm happy for that. I'll celebrate it. But I've always been more of a German fan, which will come as no surprise to anybody who knows who my hero is. So I was quite surprised going to the World Cup that people were talking about Germany as one of the favourites. I was kind of like, not from the football I've been watching. So I'm with you on that, even though you are obviously a legitimate German Red Raven. So I bow to your superior knowledge on that. But from what I've seen and from people I know in Germany I've spoken to, it was very, very strange that everyone was like, oh, Germany could be in for this, could be up for this one. And you think, But then as an Englishman, I can tell you now, I think it's hilarious that people think that England are one of the favourites. Anyway, watch Sean reveal a kit whilst eating a fried Mars bar during this stream. Yeah. Oh my God, it's Argentina. No. Stroll has qualified Alonso in 2 out of 3 of the 3 last races. Yeah. Not bad for the worst F1 driver ever, according to Twitter, says Jay Webb. Twitter is full of people who don't remember Ricardo Rosset. Clearly. You want to watch a bad driver, watch him trying to reverse in Monaco. And listen to Martin Brundle's commentary and how Murray Walker has to hop in and take control again, which is kind of crazy. I do like France as well, as a nation and also as a team. So call me a traitor if you like, I don't care. But I don't buy the you're from this country, you must love it forever. Which is why I don't support any British drivers, really. So Mahavir wasn't an F1 driver, cited canvas, but I think to be fair, yeah, he was that 372 point turn at Baku was great, wasn't it? I thought it was brilliant. Yeah, it was close to Rosset, wasn't it, John T? I know. Don't tell my granddad, Jamie. He'll come back to life just to kill me. What's well, this is Zach Brown, who again, I'll make the point. Zach Brown is the CEO of McLaren. He's not the team principal, but we always seem to talk to him over anybody far more interesting. A lot of people love Zach Brown. I don't quite get it. Not to be mean, you know, whatever. But for anyone who doesn't know, Ross's mechanics swapped the T and the R on the race car once because they were so sick of rebuilding it. There you go. I'm gonna try not to do too much dead air here, by the way. But I'm gonna listen to Anthony Davidson because he is the god of Sky F1's punditry and coverage and analysis, in my opinion. So we're watching the Colapinto one, sorry, not the Russell one. I mean, Colapinto wide at Beckett's prior to his spin anyway. On this replay, so was giving it everything there, I suppose. And then he had his spin, which they're going to show now. So he's left, right. It goes before he gets to Beckett's, it goes round. And Anthony Davis saying the wind caught the car. He thinks there is a side wind, but it's Silverstone, so the wind generally comes from every direction at Silverstone. So. That's possibly what's caught him out here. And they're going to watch... Oh, I thought Ocon was caught out by the yellow here. So single yellow is flashing. So he only has to lift ever so slightly for that. I think he says on the radio single yellow as well. So there you go. It must be the wind. Charles Engineer. Jamie's on one today. Golf Ball says, hope you didn't use my predictions this week. I did not. I don't know who I pinned. I had to pin it when I got home because I watched practice and sprint qualifying when I got home from a day out. So I don't know who I pinned. I can't remember. But we can have a look. I know I went with Antonelli for pole, didn't I? So let's have a look. What did we... Ocon's talking to... Anthony Davidson randomly here, talking about the yellow flag situation. So the community, you guys, your predictions for this week are courtesy of Shadowmancy, who went with a Russell pole and Antonelli win, a Hamilton and Russell podium, fastest lap Antonelli, finishes 18, and bold Cadillac Q2. I am doing this until it happens. So the Cadillac Q2 one is already red. But yeah, that's your predictions for this week. So yeah, Ocon there, make yourself available. Ragunathan, no one beats King Ragunathan, says Kieran. We will do predictions between Q2, my god, and Q3 for pole position. Head to head at McLaren, 4 apiece apparently. Watching Lance Stroll here. What are we watching? Is Pierre Gasly impeding? No. Shorthorpe? No. He's on the racing line, but come on. No. The Lando Norris fan section just looks like a high-vis worker. Yes. I'll stop there. But yes, it does sighted canvas. It reminds me of that guy who won, was it Britain's Got Talent or something? I don't know. We are waiting for a go time. Literally the words that Cross just used there, weirdly enough, for Q2 while they sweep up the gravel from Franco Colapinto and well, I think just Franco Colapinto making a mess of the track. So there you go. Q2 will start at 16:33. That is in about 5 minutes time. So they're just cleaning up the mess that Colapinto made after his spin. All I want for my birthday is a Lando pole. That's great. I'd ask for some new shoes or something, make it interesting, for goodness sake. Not a Lando Norris pole or a new hat or some Lando Norris merch. I'll not be funny, but all I want for my birthday is some F1 merch. That's way better than just a Lando Norris pole. There you go. I sound like such a miserable old bastard, and I don't mean to, but I can't think of anything worse than being sat in that stand at a weekend, unless you are a massive Lando Norris fan, in which case I imagine the atmosphere is insane and a lot of fun, but I just can't think of anything worse. And that's nothing to do with Lando. No. I also can't think of anything worse than being sat out in the British sun on a muggy Saturday without cover. It's a great thing about it. I guess it's the same at every F1 race or any grandstand. You get in a grandstand, a covered grandstand, and you get that breeze across on a hot day. It actually gets cold. You're like, oh, do I need my jacket? Oh, I love that. It's better. But yeah, no, I can't. No. What about the current order for the grid? Says FUD. I'm maybe forgetting something. Oh, no, I'm with you. No, I'm there. Yes, I would take that. Hadjar, Lawson, Leclerc, Hulkenberg, Verstappen as a top 5. Both of the Mercedes well down the top 10. The McLaren's arguably out of at least race position. You'd expect them to be quicker than Hulkenberg, and the 2 Racing Bulls are probably quicker on race day than quali. That would be a fun grid. That would be a fun grid. Perez's 131.4 will be reinstated. He'll be delighted to hear that because that leaves him 20th. I know they've got to follow procedure, etc., 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 but it's still 20th. But it means that he is even further clear now, isn't he, of the... it's just 1.4 seconds clear, and actually only a 10th off of the Alpine of Colapinto. So that does... It's better... It looks better on the timesheet, for sure, for Perez, and good progress for Cadillac, but still quite a way off Q2 at the moment. So track is green in sector 13, so we're 2 minutes away from the start of Q2. The 90 section 24 hours of Le Mans was one of the worst ways to watch a race, says Lala Bake. I can imagine. The McLaren livery is, if I'm not mistaken, a throwback to their old 1960s livery. That's to a net. I think so, yes. Sean, who makes better beer, Ireland or Britain? My obsession lager at the moment is the Hawkstone Premium. I'm not a big lager drinker. I think that's delicious. But in terms of a beer, you know, a real raw beer, you can't beat a Guinness, can you? You just can't. So I'd have to say Ireland. A country I'd love to move to Ireland. It's on my list. That or Canada. I can't decide. Ireland's easier because I can effectively just turn up and say, I'd like to live here, and I'll go on then. Good luck affording it. Canada would have to go through all sorts of visas and stuff. So, but yeah, no, either's fine. No. I haven't tried the cider yet, golf balls. I was put off it by the exploding cider. I'll give it a try though. I've got to try and find out who sells it in the UK. But yeah. Do each UK drivers get their own stand, with George getting maybe a row in a small stand on the far side of the track, says Kevin? Well, Hamilton's got the Hamilton straight, hasn't he? So Lando's got the grandstand. I don't know. Russell could have Luffield now, couldn't he? Some grandstands up there after that. 10 seconds then until we get going for Q2. A little bit of break there because they need to clean the track. So we'll see what's going to happen from here on in. It's time for Q2. Finally. Here we go then. Who is going to get into the top 10 shootout? 15 minutes. Apparently Sainsbury's sell the cider, so thank you very much, golf balls. I have a Sainsbury's literally over the road. I can see it from a window when I rarely open the curtains. Sunlight, no. So, yes. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate that. I will give that a go. I was in there yesterday, actually. Should have bought some, but never mind. Didn't see it. Didn't know to look, to be fair. They sell it in Five Guys. Really? Didn't know Five Guys did booze. I've never been to Five Guys ever, so it just looks really overpriced for what it is, honestly. To be fair, I have loved the Scots being our guests in 24, but drinking Boston Dry is next level, says Red Raven. Right, who we got on track list? We've got the two Red Bulls out there at the moment. Used tyres again, interestingly, for Hadjar and Verstappen. So maybe going to get a banker lap in. And then some fresh softs on. Ferrari maybe saving a soft set. I can't think what they had left. Pirelli don't always put the info out, so... This engine is not responding normally, Max Verstappen said. But it's the best engine on the grid. Is he coming in the pits? No, he's going to go for it again. Has anybody heard any interviews from Max after practice and sprint quali and the sprint itself? I've not really heard how he's feeling about the weekend so far. I imagine he's not particularly enjoying the way the rules work around this track. Let's put it that way. But I've not had a chance to really listen to much. Obviously, as soon as I finished the sprint, I went off and got something to eat and then came straight back to start again. So, well, maybe I'll try it one day, Fudd. Maybe I will, mate. Put the diet on hold for a day or something, I don't know. We'll see. So Ferraris have both gone out on new tyres. That answers that then. In fact, a lot of people are on new tyres except the Red Bulls and Oscar Piastri at the moment. So we'll see what everybody else does. Not a big tennis fan, to be honest, CPB. So I've not watched any Wimbledon. Purple, obviously, for Max in the first sector. He is the first one to do a lap. He's got Albon just ahead of him. But this lap is a bit of a banker, but it's not going to be the one that he... Unless he does something incredible, it's not going to be the one that he finishes this session on. He's going to be on a fresh set before you know it for his second run, I would imagine. Unless he does put in a great lap that's enough to get him through. But I'd be surprised. A 30.3 was the cut-off for Q1, and that's a 29.3. So, yeah, not totally comfortable. Hadjar looks good again this weekend, doesn't he? I know he was sort of a bit off yesterday, but this morning, sorry, in the sprint he wasn't. He had a bad start, and he's just gone faster than his teammate by 0.1 seconds. That's a tenth of a second. So really good lap there from Hadjar on identical tyres again. You know, both on used tyres. There's no discrepancy there. Both 5 laps each. So nice. Leclerc's going for it. I imagine this will be purple because he's on the soft tyres as Lawson that moves into third just as he starts to get his lap together. Edgar says, hey Edgar, I should say hello Edgar, how you are mate? Says just checking in, England v Mexico tomorrow, thoughts? Have to get back to work but I'll come back later to listen. Enjoy work mate, hope it's okay. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit just as we watch. I'll keep an eye on these times, but yeah, England Mexico, it was going to get moved forward, all this talk of it, and then it got left at 1 a.m. but I think England will struggle against Mexico. That said, Mexico might have to come out to, will probably be more likely to come out to play than, say, DR Congo was, for example. So it might be easier to get through Mexico than it is trying to break down teams with a low block. Listen to me. Fucking hell. It's an F1 channel, Sean. Stop it. But yeah, I think watching England against DR Congo was like watching Man United against Burnley. Just unable to break them down. So Mexico might actually, funnily enough, be an easier game in some ways, but I still think Mexico come out on top in that one. Leclerc over the line. That's a good lap, 29 flat. And here comes Lewis Hamilton. Does he better it? He does indeed, a 28.8. Very good lap from Lewis Hamilton there. Lindblad's on one as well. Purple first sector, quicker than both of the Ferraris. Competitive in the middle sector and goes 5th fastest on the 29.3. Mate, I had no response from the pedal, says Antonelli. So not having fun today, Mercedes. Piastri over the line. I mean, what I would say in my defence is the channel is called Formula Sean and not the F1 word. So Formula Sean suggests I could talk about anything I like, but I try to keep it on F1 when we're watching Formula 1 qualifying. But I'm pretty sure a lot of you in chat and a lot watching are fully aware that we wander off on tangents while we're waiting for things to happen. But we're a community. We are, as we keep saying, chat, we are mates in a pub watching F1 together. And when you're in a pub watching anything with your mates, the conversation wanders to all sorts, doesn't it? So we always come back to what's happening there as Russell goes P2 and Bearman goes P11, 30.5. So Russell half a tenth off Lewis Hamilton. Charles Leclerc 2/10 off the fastest time in P3. Norris only P8, 129.8. So we'll go through the tyres in a minute. Antonelli really, I mean, this is a flying lap for Antonelli, a 156. So whatever's going on there, I don't know. We'll wait and see. I know he said about his pedal, didn't he? Didn't respond, or got no response. We'll see what's going on with that one. Hopefully, he can go and get a lap in now. But it is used tyres for Hadjar, Verstappen, Norris, and Piastri. Everybody else on fresh tyres. So here he comes. He's through farm, Abbey and farm. He's into farm now, and he's just a little bit like the George Russell one actually. A lock up on the inside, and then he's just gone wide, but very similar to the George Russell one. So not sure what's going on with Mercedes there. John T says that Chris Medland is getting reports that the B-Spec Aston will give them 2.5 seconds improvement at best. That's still going out in Q3. Yikes, if true. They need a car that gives them 5 seconds, don't they, really? I mean, that's 2.5 seconds. If that's the car, if the power unit has a boost in there as well, that might be better than 2.5. But I don't know if he said, John T, whether that's the whole package as in aero and power unit, or whether that is just the aero side of things. Because for an aero side, that's not bad, is it? But when you're 6 months off the pace, 2.5 seconds, it's not. I guess it's not hard to find, but of course it's Antonelli goes third, by the way. So I don't know if I'm going to sneeze or not. I might have to mute things. We'll see how we go. But yeah, 2.5. I mean, 2.5 seconds. I mean, Alonso did a 33 flat, so that's a 131.5, which puts him behind Bottas, Colapinto. So he outqualifies Stroll. If we just apply the 2.5 to Alonso, he outqualifies Stroll today, yeah? 31.5. Apply it to Stroll, he outqualifies Colapinto. Not enough, is it? But I'm pretty sure if you said to Aston Martin, do you think that's enough? They're going to go, probably not, no. As someone said on Sunday now, and Stuart made the point as well, get the update on, run it for the rest of the season, test what you need to test, get it all absolutely perfect for next season, and then develop on top of that, or bring the C-spec car, if you like, or the brand new one for 27 and start again. But yeah, it's... Okay, chap. While we've got this little lull, while we're waiting for cars to get back and change tyres, what strange math? Well, I'm doing a 133 flat versus minus 2.5 seconds, which is a 131.5, which will put him behind Perez on a 131.4. And then if I take 2.5 off Stroll, that's a 130.3, which puts him just ahead, or just behind Colapinto, actually. So I think that's right. I might be wrong. But I was going to say, chat, you are Fernando Alonso. Congratulations, you lucky swines. Aston Martin give you a car with a 2.5 second upgrade on it, and you know that isn't enough. Is that enough for you to stay next year at Aston? No, surely a 133 flat minus 2.5 is 32 flat. Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, I'll shut up. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're all right on the maths. Look, I'm live. Leave me alone, all right? But either way, is that enough if you're Fernando Alonso to stick around? Okay. Don't do me on maths. I could have worked that out if I had an hour and a calculator and wasn't live, but yeah. Either way, he still struggles to get out of Q1. There you go. I concede to Kevin and Connell and everyone who's going, this guy can't count. Criticises our English and then can't even count. I failed maths miserably at school. But at least I can say maths. So that's something. Here comes... Oh, we're doing it. We're doing it. I've been live twice. I'm cockier now. Here comes Max Verstappen then. Is improving on his best time. He has got fresh tyres on now, though. Was he up on Hamilton there, actually? He may have been just up on Hamilton. It's not purple, but Hamilton wasn't purple either, so there you go. Through the final couple of corners comes Max. Over the line, 28.8 to beat. He's not going to beat that, but he does do a 29.1. Final sector, 0.3 down on Hamilton. He's lost a lot of time in there. He was competitive and matching him in the middle sector, quicker than him in the first sector, but 0.3 down in the final sector. And Hadjar goes quicker. 5th place. Could Hadjar out qualify Max? That'd be a story. Yeah. This is a disaster. Unbelievable, says Matt. Yeah, CPB says just put I studied maths and English at GCSE level. I was fine with English. I passed that comfortably on the higher paper back in 2002, so like anybody cares. Yeah, no. Maths was not my thing, but thankfully I don't need it or anything, and I don't make a tit of myself on a live stream with it, Here comes 29.6 is a projected knockout. 2.5 minutes left. Oscar Piastri, we're watching him right now in that mixed feelings McLaren livery, let's say, looking at chat. Yes, I finished school in 2002. Kieran, yes, it was 2002. Yesterday, wasn't it? I was waiting to see what. I mean, Lindblad's quicker than Hamilton in the first sector. So Lewis's first sector can't have been 28.5 isn't bad, but Hadjar the same. No, first sector for Hamilton, not good actually. So that's an area of improvement. So one to keep an eye on later in the session if he needs it, but he should be okay. That's rude, Kieran. I'm disgraced. So here comes Piastri. I am gonna get this Piastri. I thought he was further on the lap than he was, which is why I started focusing on it. And now I'm kind of like, come on, Oscar, get on with it. He should get through, you would think. When you go P7 though, 29.2, so not should be through from there, but not exactly totally comfortable, is it? I say should be through. Norris is only ninth. Yeah, I can't read numbers now. Here comes Hamilton now. He's improving 28.4. That's a better first sector. Not great in the middle sector. 0.4 down his best time, but Leclerc is purple. Lindblad goes through, stays 8th. Here comes Liam Lawson. What can he do over the line? He stays 10th. Might save Norris that one, actually. Leclerc goes fastest on a 28.626. What's Hamilton's lap going to be like? It's not a great middle sector. In fact, it's not a great lap in the end. He does go purple final sector though, 128.864. So it's Ferrari 1 and 2. Looking forward to this all falling apart. Bearman stays 13th, doesn't get through. Carlos Sainz improvement, but doesn't get through. 14th. A lot of dust kicked up on the outside in the final corner there, so not sure what's going on there, but Albon, Bortoletto doesn't get through, goes 11th. Lando Norris can breathe a sigh of relief, I think, here. Antonelli's flying now. Here's Albon. He doesn't get through, so we've lost Bortoletto, Gasly, Bearman, Sainz, Albon, and I'm guessing Hülkenberg. Gasly is quick. He's improving. Hülkenberg goes 12th. It's all on Gasly then, as Antonelli goes fastest by 1/10 of a second. Hülkenberg is not going to get through. What's Pierre doing? Here he comes. Gasly goes 12th. So we've lost Bortoletto, Gasly, Hülkenberg, Bearman, Sainz, and Albon. Antonelli fastest in that session, with Leclerc second, Hamilton third. Then it's Russell, Hadjar, Verstappen, Piastri, Lindblad, Norris, and Lawson. So again, both the Racing Bulls through. So I think really stamping their authority. That was stamping, by the way. Stamping their authority on that best of the rest P5, aren't they, at the minute? Turn 6 incident involving cars 10, gas, and 81 Pierre, noted. Horrible lap, says Sainz. Copy, says the engineer. That's the... Yeah. It's not quite up there with the the one from last week at Austria, when they told Hamilton to pit on the VS. They're like, box, 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 box. He went, oh, you were too late. And then the engineer just goes, we tried. It's like, so sad and just so disappointed in themselves. We tried. You know, we gave it everything. John says Noah's Ark grid incoming. Could be. It could easily be, couldn't it? Actually, looking at that, yeah. Yes. Sean was stressing in his exams, and I was just eating jam sandwiches and drawing whilst watching Yo Ho Ahoy. I can promise you I was not stressing in my exams. Very, very little effort went into my exams, as proven by my grades. English, cruised it. RE, I'm a priest now, you know, absolutely cruised that one. I did a GMVQ in IT, which was equivalent to 4 GCSE, so I can blag that one. Went into my exam with a guaranteed C already, so did nothing extra. Regret that, because that could have been huge. And yeah, that was basically it. Just no effort in anything else. So, which is why I talk shit on the internet for a living. There you go. I suppose, but hey. Oh, I'm so confident and positive about myself. English is still a bollocks subject for me. I can read, write, and speak. What more do you want? Says John T. Still proud of myself that at one point in my life I failed every single English grade, and now I'm capable of getting 2 sentences almost straight. Says Red Raven. To be honest, Red Raven, most English people can't get 2 sentences straight, so that's impressive. Lewis hasn't been going purple in the first sector all weekend. Yeah, I noticed that. I was looking at his... I mean... Final sector purple. I mean, it's interesting. When you look at the timing tower, it's quite pretty, actually. It's very, very nice. But Antonelli, purple first sector. Leclerc, purple second sector. Hamilton, purple third sector. And they're 1, 2, and 3. So, kind of perfect, really, isn't it? So, there you go. Let's do predictions then. What's your top 3 on the grid? Who do you think is going to be top 3? Who's getting pole? Who will take second? Who will take third? I am going to stick with my prediction from Wednesday. I mean, Tuesday for me, Wednesday for you when you watch the video, but and go with a Kimi Antonelli poll. The community, of course, courtesy of, I've forgotten who it was again now. Whoever you were. Shadow Mancy, there we go. It's Russell, I think, but I'm going Antonelli still, so. Kevin says, Sean, you don't talk shit. Group hug from Toronto. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Can you find me a house, and can you... like, be some kind of... Can you go and have a word with the embassy and let me come move to Canada? Please. For me, Kevin. American English spelling differences largely stem from a deliberate post-revolutionary movement to establish an independent national identity, says Craig. Well, maybe there's a reason journalists did it in the US, or printing did it in the US, versus... what society did, and then the two kind of came together and thought maybe something. It could be that both are true, but one had more of an impact than the other. But yeah, definitely. It's interesting because you're in printing and my partner's a journalist, so this was all part of studies for journalism and stuff. So I'm kind of like, okay, it could be both. I might have a read up on it later. I mean, I know it's not really important; it just does not matter. But it is still interesting to know these things or to learn these things. So. There might be a third reason thrown in there for all we know, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I've already warned the Canadian government about you. Recommended you to the Canadian government. Thank you, Kevin. I thought we're sitting here in a virtual pub. Positive energy and decent English is not what I expect out of a pub anyway. Yeah. I'm gonna... I want to know if anyone gets the reference now. But did you see that ludicrous display last night? John will get the reference. I'm sure many of you will as well. Let's get your predictions in while you all... don't Google it if you don't know. Don't cheat. John T's got Ferrari, Merc, Red Bull, McLaren, RB. That's the Noah's Ark thing. Foot says Hamilton, Antonelli, Leclerc. Wild chaos prediction. Hadjar, Leclerc, Russell. The incident between Gas and Pierre has been reviewed. No further investigation. You may be pleased to hear. Red Raven's gone Hamilton, Antonelli, Leclerc. Pole Kimi. Second Lewis. Third George. 10 points. 10 points to Ross, and I'll give 5 points to Kieran. Ross says the problem with Arsenal is they always try to walk it in. And then, yeah. Kieran says Arsenal always try to walk it in. There you go. You get 10 points because Ross got there first. Kieran, you get 5 because you were there second, mate. But yes, thank you. Just want to know what Wenger was thinking about bringing Walcott on that early. I know someone that's blacklisted from Canada, says Jamie. True story. It's not me, I promise. Antonelli, Hamilton, and Leclerc for Craig. Hamilton, Antonelli, and Hadjar for Pascal. Did a read yours, CPB. Kimi, Lewis, and George. Did I miss it? Did I? Maybe. I didn't see the one in caps. No, I saw it's still effing true. That's the one I've got there. So I might have so I'll give you 10 points anyway. There you go. You both get 10 points. Ross says Antonelli, Hamilton, and Russell, and Red Raven wants an explanation. So it's from As We Go Green for Q3. It's from the IT crowd. It's a piece of software that Moss, who's played by Richard Iowadi, uses so he can have small talk with the postman. I think the episode calls something like "Aren't We Men?" or something like that, or "Aren't We Men Too?" or something like that. So yeah, it's a bit of software. It's just quite funny, and it's one of those episodes of a sitcom, the IT crowd, that just starts here and then escalates. Also go watch The Workouting by the IT crowd. That's another one that just escalates from something so nothing to God knows what. Yeah, I highly... If you've never seen the IT crowd, the UK version, please watch it. It's great. We are going. We're just going to wait for cars to get out on track. So we'll keep waffling nonsense, and then we'll start focusing on what's happening on track once we get some cars out there setting laps. Piastri heading out now, as is Lewis Hamilton, as is everybody now. As always, they wait a little bit, then they all go together, which is about right for F1, of course. John T says the English language is like cooking with 18 different fruits together and it somehow tastes like chicken. Yeah, it's about right. Did I say Jamie says Hadjar, Lawson, Leclerc for a top 3? That would be absolutely insane. I would love that. There we go. There's our prediction. I'll stick with Antonelli. Don't want to do a top 3, not really, but I'll go Antonelli. Antonelli, Hamilton. I think this is bold because I think this is going to be a bit Noah's Ark, but I'm going to throw in Hadjar. I'm going to go with Hadjar for P3. Just a shock P3. Although I say shock, didn't he qualify 3rd in Australia? I think. Annette likes the IT crowd. Good. It's so... Yeah, it's daft, isn't it? But it's good fun. It's kind of like... Did it come before the Big Bang Theory? I think it did, didn't it? I was going to say it's a bit British Big Bang Theory, but I don't think that's quite right either. But yeah. I'm going to let you guys carry on that conversation. I don't know what you're talking about, but yes. Let's enjoy this 10 minutes of quali then. I will say, if you haven't already, please do drop a like on the stream. Really appreciate the support, and subscribe if you are new. This isn't the final stream of the live stream of the weekend. I will be live tomorrow within 30 minutes of the race finishing with Chamber for the race reaction. And then, as I said earlier, we'll see what happens next week. Depends how things work out life-wise. But after that, we'll be back for Belgium and Hungary, and we are then full-time with the channel pretty much from that point onwards. So thank you for bearing with me in this, let's call it soft launch phase, as we sort of get the foundations in place. But we are going to be ramping things up now once we've got through. I think Belgium and Hungary and everything after that is going to be a lot more content, including through the summer break. So yeah, please do join me for my bizarre journey, and hopefully we can do this beyond the end of the year, which is kind of the line I've set myself as this needs to be working by then. So we'll see how we go. Yes. You should be ashamed, Red. You should be absolutely devastated, Red Raven. The first one was a little bit weird, but yeah. Soft lunch, says Kevin. Yes, soft lunch phase. Launch. Oh, do you know? Kevin's just here to cause trouble today, isn't it? So, I mean, like that's not what Kevin does every time we're live, but you know. Piastri then into the final few turns. I've ruined me cooling mat. It's all, yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. My feet are warm. Piastri was a 129.2. Everyone on fresh tyres except for Lawson at the moment. Lindblad hasn't gone out, so I imagine Lawson comes in. So I imagine they're not going to worry too much about those first runs. Leclerc is 0.6 up on Piastri in the middle sector alone. Verstappen actually pretty rapid in there as well. I think he's about to go faster. Well, there's Norris, goes second. That's not a Red Bull, Sean. 129.3. Here is Max now. Does go fastest on a 129.1, but not the gap I expected. Now, Leclerc was flying, but then Lewis Hamilton turned up and George Russell's on one as well. Leclerc goes fastest on a 28.6, half a second quicker than Max Verstappen. Hamilton now goes fastest on a 28.5. Antonelli, well, that's Hadjar, third. I would be right if he was there, wouldn't I? So that would be something. Here comes Antonelli, purple in the middle sector. Everyone's fighting time. Here he goes. Antonelli fastest by 0.2 of a second. Russell's on a good lap as well. And he goes second on a 28.4. At the moment, it is a Mercedes 1-2 at the front. Looking at chat, it's like, and the crowd goes mild. No. I don't know what I was expecting for chat. Like, oh my God, a Mercedes 1-2. I'm so surprised. That's how it stands. Well, just less than a 10th between the two of them and then a 10th back to Hamilton. So this is still, I mean, Leclerc's only just under 300ths off his teammates. So this is still anyone's game in that top four. And you never know what Max could pull out of the bag. You know, he's like Hadjar at the minute on the brink of out qualifying his teammate. So what we're seeing here for Hamilton. Here we go. What's he going to do? He's a little bit wide at 3, yeah. I want us to sing Wake Us Up When the Season Ends. Yeah. Kevin says, Kimi's blown my mind at his age doing this. I know. Wild, isn't it? Wild. And I think you're fair as well. Red Raven says, to be fair, it's more interesting than we feared. I think you're right, yeah. I think, is it fair to say any one of 4? But again, you could never really truly write out someone like Max Verstappen, so, or write off someone like Max Verstappen. So, you know, 2/10 between the top 4. I mean, that's time that could be found, so. The girlfriend is moaning. It says golf balls that cars were 4 seconds faster last year in the 124s. Most of social media are probably moaning about that, mate, to be fair. But it's not unusual for the start of regulation cycles to be off the pace, but the beginning of a new regulation cycle to be that far off the pace. But it is quite excessive here. But that's because they're having to do some recharge through cops, because otherwise they're never going to get to Stowe, are they? It could take them a month to get down there. So, you know, I think was it 40 something kilometers an hour slower through one of those famous corners. I meant to write it down, to be fair, and I completely forgot, as is life. But yeah. Ted was saying, I thought Ted was saying something more interesting than he was. Sorry, that's why I went quiet, but he wasn't. He was just talking the usual nonsense. It's been a long time since F1 regs were just about the cars being as fast as possible, says Ross. It's summer has come. Oh, see, I was reading that as a really, really important comment there, CP, and you're singing at me. I don't think they're out of tyres, the Racing Bulls, Red Raven. They're only going to do the one. The one run, which isn't a great shock, I think. Yeah. That was what I thought. Ted was going to get into a really interesting point. Apparently, they haven't gone quicker yet. than Lewis Hamilton's sprint pole. So they're just shy of that at the minute. So we'll see what happens. Jonty doesn't think anything's going to change without something magical. Yeah. The track evolution at Silverstone isn't that high compared to somewhere like, lots of chaos in the pits there between a McLaren and 2 Racing Bulls. Have all got through compared to some tracks, because Silverstone is used pretty much all year round, isn't it, by just about anybody that wants to race there. So yeah, Hamilton's oversteer at turn 3 will also be, I mean, a tenth of a second there or half a tenth, but either way, these final runs, fresh tyres for everybody. I don't know what Anthony said there, but preempting the latest leave, so maybe not happy he's gone out so early. But anyway, yeah, so there's definitely time there for Hamilton, but I think everyone will improve their times, or most will improve their times. It's whether or not they can improve position, isn't it, I suppose? But why am I first? I thought it was something like that, yeah. Lindblad's been noted for unsafe release. That did look a bit chaotic, but generally that tends to be a warning or a fine. I think Ferrari can, if they're not going to take pole, I think they can split the Mercedes. I think they can split the Mercs. But I've just got a feeling that Russell's going to nick this right at the death from me and take my point away from my predictions. That's all I care about anymore. What happened to Max is Neelish 4 tenths down. He doesn't seem happy in the car at all, generally. He's not really elaborating over the radio, which you wouldn't expect him to, but Hadjar last over the line, says Fudd. So yeah, I just think he's just struggling with the either deployment or not enjoying what's going on, or there's something else going with the car. But yeah, not comfortable, which is why I think Lindblad, Hadjar's got a great chance of pipping him here. Look nice and clean from Antonelli. So the fastest first sector is a 28.292 so far. That was by Antonelli. And we'll see what he does as he comes through here. So 28.2 to beat. Nearly a 28.3 to be fair. But here he goes. And he is a little bit down. He's a 28.3, but he's up on his own time, if that makes sense. So he's up overall, but down on his fastest in the first sector. 35.5. Is the fastest in the middle sector. So we'll see what he does through there as well. But this is just want to keep an eye on. I'm with Fudd. Keep an eye on Hadjar. I mean, Lindblad's only 700ths off in that first sector of the fastest time. So he's in the mix here. Lindblad will be investigated after the session for the unsafe release. See if anything comes of that. Purple in the middle sector, a 35.521. For Antonelli, so he's on it here. He is improving. Now we need to see what Russell does. 28.5 in the first sector, not even a personal best, so not a great first sector from George. There is still plenty of time in the lap though. So here comes Kimi Antonelli with 5 seconds left on the clock. He crosses the line and improves to a 128, 111, and is now 3 tenths quicker than Russell. Here comes Lando Norris. He gets his lap in 6th place, only 6th place for Norris and McLaren. Lindblad on a personal best. Piastri, personal best as well. Charles Leclerc, purple in the first sector by a matching Antonelli's fastest in the first sector in the last session, or in his last run. Piastri looks sideways through there. He's now through the final corner over the line, only 7th for him, so 6th and 7th as it stands for McLaren. Verstappen down to 8th place. Here comes Lawson. It's pole. No, it isn't really. It's P10 for Lawson. That was cruel. Russell really not having a great lap at all here. He's going to get over the line. He stays second. Charles Leclerc is down in he's in this Leclerc. Verstappen only 7th. Just pips Piastri. Hadjar's out qualified. Verstappen guaranteed now, whatever happens. Leclerc goes second by nearly 2 tenths of a second. Hadjar personal best in the middle sector. Hamilton personal best in the first sector. Hamilton goes third, and it is both both Ferraris split the Mercs. I said they had a shot. Here comes Hadjar. He goes 5th, but still out-qualifies Max Verstappen. And again, Hadjar always looks so angry at everything he does. I love the guy. But Kimi Antonelli is on pole position for the British Grand Prix. Nearly 2/10 clear of Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton P3, and George Russell in P4. Hadjar 5th. We'll go through the order properly in a minute. Norris 6th, Verstappen 7th, Piastri 8th, Lindblad 9th, and Lawson in 10th place. But Kimi gets pole. Chat, discuss. We'll go through the order in just a sec, like I say, but that is a... Where's the time correct? It was the middle sector. It was really rapid, wasn't he? 35.521. Leclerc did a 35.6. Hamilton a 35.7. He was well clear of everybody in that middle sector in the end. So really, really good from Antonelli there, as is becoming the norm, really. Or it feels like it is. Kimi Antonelli really impressing a lot of people, I think. I'm going to get a quick swig of drink. And then I'll run through the order, and then we'll take some questions, talk about tomorrow, and then we'll finish for today. So give me 15 seconds, and I'll be back with you. Oh, there we go. Kimi on pole. So let's run through the order then, and we can listen to what's happening, and I'll come to you for your comments to get your thoughts in. We'll do predictions as well shortly. Get your thoughts on the session and what it means for tomorrow, and any questions you might have as well. And we'll stay live till about 5:30, so about 20 minutes, and then we'll wrap it up for today. So Kimi Antonelli is on pole position for the 2026 British Grand Prix. He took pole with his first lap, provisional pole, then managed to stay there with a much improved second lap. 28.1 for him, with Charles Leclerc in second place, nearly 2/10 back, 0.175 between them. Lewis Hamilton... pretty much the same back to him, actually, in third place. So Leclerc getting the better of Hamilton for the first time in what feels like a while. I might have to go and have a look at what that is, but it has been a while. George Russell, his final run was not good at all. I don't know what was going on there. Maybe we'll get some info soon, but a 128.4 and nearly 4/10 off his teammate in the end, which is a big gap. Isack Hadjar out-qualified Max Verstappen. He will start 5th with Lando Norris in 6th. Max Verstappen 7th and Oscar Piastri in P8. Piastri 9/10 of a second off Antonelli. Verstappen nearly 8/10 off. So it certainly this weekend feels like Mercedes and Ferrari have got the edge over everybody else. But as we saw after Barcelona, things can quickly change as Hadjar gets no further action for ignoring the maximum delta time, which is standard. But yeah, when you think about how things changed after Barcelona, then again in Austria, it's changed again here. It might change again for Belgium, so we'll see. Arvid Lindblad, 9th place, his first home Grand Prix, of course, with Liam Lawson in 10th. Lindblad is under investigation for an unsafe release, likely, if anything, to be a fine for the team and a bit of a ticking off. Gabriel Bortoletto, if Pascal's here, he'll be used to hearing this. We've got an Audi in 11th place. He's 11th, is Bortoletto. Gasly in 12th, Hulkenberg 13th, Ollie Bearman in 14th, and Carlos Sainz 15th. It is Alex Albon 16th, and then it's Esteban Ocon, Valtteri Bottas, Franco Colapinto, Sergio Perez, Lance Stroll, and Fernando Alonso. Lance Stroll out qualifying his teammate, of course. So, yes. Please do drop a like on the stream if you haven't already, and subscribe if you are new. Just a reminder, live again tomorrow, shortly after the checkered flag falls, with Chamber for the race reaction. And then, of course, we'll be back for the preview for Spa, the usual weekend live streams. And, of course, we'll have the same again for Hungary. And that is the point where we should be, by then, full-time on the channel. So lots of content to come between now and the end of the year, I guess, is what I'm going to say. So, yes, likes and subs, greatly appreciated. So let's come to you in chat and see what you're saying. We'll do predictions shortly. We'll have a little chat again for a few minutes, and then we'll do the predictions and call it there. But thank you if you are disappearing now, by the way. Thank you so much for your company this Saturday afternoon. Really appreciate it, and it's great to have you sharing these crazy F1 moments with me. There you go. I know it's not for the championship, says Red Raven, but I expect Piastri to outperform Norris this season, or expected, sorry, but so far it hasn't happened. Yeah, Piastri... disappointment's maybe unfair, but a bit of a negative surprise of this season so far. But I will maintain he is still 2 races behind everyone else because he missed the first 2, didn't he? So not an excuse, just a poke at a bit of fun there. Marta, who's going to Silverstone tomorrow, says should be a good race tomorrow. Yeah, keep an eye on that one. Try and if you can get opposite a big screen, Marta, that's the best way. You can enjoy the atmosphere and still keep up with what's going on in the race. That's my advice there. Connell says, at what point do we start calling Russell out for being genuinely below expectations consistently? I think, to be fair, Connell, I think Russell is getting a lot of being called out for where he is at the moment, and then he sort of puts a performance together like Austria, takes a win, and you sort of think, okay, maybe this is the turning point, and then we get to a week later and it wasn't the turning point, and he's back 4/10 off his teammate. So I will be looking at stuff like that during the summer break when we've got we've got the first 11 races under our belt. That's pretty much half a season done. Let's look at who's doing what, who's performing, who's not performing, who needs a boot of the backside, get going, that sort of thing, and we'll look at that then. But yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. So does this mean that Papa Stroll is sponsoring you short? Yeah, he will do now. I should get paid now because Stroll out-qualified Alonso, so that's great. Hey, Kaori, hope you're well and enjoyed that. If you've seen a qualifying, hope you enjoyed it. This is the first season Piastri has not made a massive step, says a Yinka. Again, something to look at. Yeah, I think, he definitely took a step last year, big step forward, didn't he? I think last year people felt that if McLaren had the best car, Norris would absolutely walk it. He did win the championship in the end, but he didn't walk it. And I know some who argue Piastri threw it away, but I don't think that's very fair on Norris. But yeah, it's not been what I expected from him at all. So maybe this era car don't suit him, or doesn't suit him. This era car don't suit him. Yeah, doesn't suit him. But yeah, Verstappen's struggling as well. So yeah. How many times has Russell beaten Antonelli in a race where the latter hasn't messed up by himself? I think Austria. Do we not think, Neelish, Austria? Well, yeah, because, I mean, you could argue Antonelli messed up in Austria because he backed off thinking it was a double yellow in quali, didn't he? Which then put him on the back foot. But then would he have lost that anyway? Because Russell, based on what Russell said about how he lifted for the single yellow, he must have been on a generational lap anyway. So probably would have been P1 at the end of it. I don't know. I mean, on race day, Russell drove very well to win it. So I think that was all George. But yeah, so again, one to look at. I think drivers most at risk at the moment, in order: Alonso if he wants to retire, Stroll, Ocon, Lawson through no fault of his own. I did read Red Raven, actually, to be fair, that I think Lawson is on for his seat next year, should be there next year. I think Racing Bulls and Red Bull are looking at 2028 before moving the next junior through, which could be Nikola Solov. We'll see. Obviously, it depends on what happens between now and then. Lawson might fall off and be dreadful. They might make the switch sooner. Lindblad might be awful. They might decide they don't want to back him, but I'm pretty sure they will be. It also depends what happens with one Max Verstappen, doesn't it? If Max Verstappen decides he's had enough and they can't get a drive from elsewhere, they might have to promote a Lindblad, and that leaves a seat at Racing Bulls and Lawson's safe again. But I think whilst it is a junior team and the point of Racing Bulls is to bring young drivers through, I think based on this first nearly half of the season, I do think it'd be very harsh to let Lawson go at the end of this year if he keeps doing this, because he's doing a good job. Better than I think a lot of people would have said over the winter. So imagine Kimi being wasted in a Williams right now, says a Yinka. Yeah. Yeah. Because that was the talk, wasn't it? Putting him in a Williams rather than a Mercedes. And then Merck went nowhere backing him. But Max Verstappen was the one that got away for Toto Wolff, wasn't he? I think that's a fair thing to say based on everything we know now. But he's been adamant for years that Antonelli is the next Verstappen for him, the next young driver that he wants in that team. So he was always going to put him in there as soon as he could. And, to be fair to Toto, it's paid off, but that's because of Antonelli's talent and the fact he's got a car that's capable of doing this as well. Put the two together and you've got a lethal combination when it comes to the championship. And now, yeah. Oh, look how tiny Kimi is. Oh my God. I think F1 drivers look quite sort of an average kind of height, and then you'll get a basketball player there or you know, somebody who's like 6 foot or something, not that tall, but tall enough, and then you put them out to F1 driving, like, my God, you are tiny. But Max should have signed with Merck in 2024, says CPB. I'm really surprised by the report, sorry again, that Russell's activated the 1-year option. If it was his to activate, I'm not surprised. But if the team activated, I am surprised. And that's not because I think George Russell should be replaced at the end of the year. Again, we'll do this at a later date. But I think because if I was Toto, I'd want that pressure on him. But then I'm maybe just tarring everyone with what I would call the Perez brush. Or the Bottas brush. In that when their contract was set to expire, they were world beaters, or it felt, compared to what they were at times. They were incredible drivers who would just pull off a result that you would be like, wow, that's incredible, and they'd be really on form, and then they sign a contract and they'd be just all of a sudden really bad. Yeah, maybe harsh, but check out MotoGP interviews with someone normal height. It's so adorable, yeah. No, I will do. Hamilton going to Ferrari is the worst thing to happen to Russell, says Sav Mariners fan. I mean, I will say on Max Verstappen, I mean, just on that point that was made there by CPB. Where does he go? If that's true about Russell activating the contract, Mercedes aren't going to boot Antonelli out. Leclerc and Hamilton are staying where they are. I don't see why McLaren change unless Piastri doesn't want to stay, or they don't think he's good enough and they put Verstappen in that other McLaren and Piastri goes to Red Bull. I don't know, but other than that, it feels like Max needs to decide if he's staying where he is or if he goes to sabbatical, which he said he won't do. If he leaves, he leaves, or goes and does something else. So interesting summer coming up, I feel, but I don't think this is going to be quite the driving market we thought it was going to be. Golf Ball says sign a new contract, then be really bad, also known as the Leclerc effect. Yeah, tell me about it. McKees is more perturbed with the balance in the car versus team politics, says Kaori. I was in Silverstone last year, says Pascal was amazing going to the Hungaroring this month. Budapest is an amazing city. Good race to everyone, thank you for the views. No worries, thank you very much, mate. That's from, I've got SG Ram here, so I don't know if you have another name, but that's the handle that I'm getting up. But thank you. Neelish says breaking news: Max moves to WEC with the Ford LMDH car. I think he'd enjoy WEC. Yeah, I just the one thing I'll say on this, we'll talk about driver moves more in the summer, I'm sure, or during the summer break, I'm sure. But the one thing I will say on Max, and it's the point I always make, and this isn't I want Max to go, because I'm a Max Verstappen fan, so I don't want that at all. But if he's unhappy, I'd rather he went and raced somewhere he is happy, because, you know, life's too short. And unless you're Fernando Alonso, a racing career is too short as well. So, yeah, go and do something you enjoy. That's a good mantra for life generally, isn't it? Do things you enjoy. Which is why I'm going to go downstairs and eat an ice lolly while waiting for the shopping to arrive and watching YouTube videos. You know, scratching me ass. Anyway, honestly, I think if Lewis stayed, he would give George trouble, says Jamie. Yeah, the moment Max retires, I'm going on to a 2-month bender. It's what he would want, says Sam Mariners fan. Yeah. Plus he still has unfinished business with, I don't know why that was so funny, it just was, with GT3 cars on multiple circuits, says Red Raven. And could Max stand holding his tongue about the hypercars? Balance of performance, though. I don't think Max Verstappen ever bites his tongue. Wherever he goes, he's going to say what he thinks. So yeah, that's going to be the case wherever he is. Maybe he'll go racing in Formula E. I'm sure he'd love it. What are your predictions for tomorrow then? Give me a podium. There you go. Give me a podium for tomorrow. Obviously that's first, second, and third. Is Antonelli going to turn that pole into another win? Will Leclerc, Hamilton maybe get a win? Will we see a British win at the British Grand Prix? So that Sky can, yeah, do what they do. CPB said maybe Red Bull would grant him a full season with WEC Ford whilst staying with the team, similar to Alonso. Maybe. I do believe Max, by the way, when he says when he retires, that's it. He won't do a sabbatical. But yeah, I'm my top 3 for tomorrow while we're doing predictions. I think I picked Russell on Tuesday, didn't I, or Wednesday for the win. But having seen the weekend unfold thus far, I'm going to go Antonelli for the win. I'm going to put Hamilton P2. And probably Russell third. I just Leclerc is in a phase at the moment where he's struggling, but also he doesn't seem to get any luck either. So I can see him easily ending this race tomorrow, 8th place or something like that. So what I want to see is Antonelli, a Ferrari, and Verstappen up there. But that would keep me happy on every level. Who's that? Oh, no, it's not. It doesn't matter. Won't matter to anybody what I'm doing. But yeah, no, so yeah, that's what I would probably go for. But if I was allowed to pick my top 3 and it would actually happen. But yeah, third for Hadjar would be great. Jamie says I'm going Lewis, Kimi and Leclerc. Sad Mariners fan has gone Sainz, Albon and Perez, which has translated to Sainz, Albon and Perez, which is great. Thanks, I wouldn't have got that otherwise. Master's gone with Antonelli, Hamilton and Russell. Same as me, there you go, yeah. Golf Balls says prediction stuff, of course, Hamilton and Antonelli. Antonelli, Hamilton and Russell, because Ferrari will have to mess it up somewhere, yeah, and it'll be Leclerc again, says Red Raven. Pretty much what I was saying there, wasn't it, actually? Fudd says Leclerc, Russell, Hadjar. Kevin says George is broken. I'm trying to find predictions there. Kaori says maybe... I want George Russell to win, but if the Ferraris don't give Kimi a problem, it'll be Kimi, Lewis, Hamilton, Russell, or maybe Kimi, Russell, Lewis, Hamilton. The one stop is going to make a boring second stint, says Kaori. Oh, is that what they're looking at? A one stop? I was expecting a 2, but that doesn't mean I'm right. I could be very wrong. I guess temperatures tomorrow with thermal deg will be a thing, won't it? But see how hot it gets. Hamilton, Leclerc, Antonelli and Bortoletto in the points is what Pascal has gone with. I would also not rule out Hamilton, says Red Raven. He has the championship in his sight, no matter how small the chance, and Hamilton on the hunt is not to be scoffed at. Kaori says, yeah, it's the one stop they're looking at tomorrow, so that's going to be fun, isn't it? Looking forward to that one. I like a multi-stop race, but just not as many stops as Ferrari seem to want to make these days for some reason. But, you know, Ferrari will Ferrari. Pirelli suggests as Kaori as one stop, and they went with the hardest tyres. That, yeah, medium hard, I suppose, would be... Yeah, that's doable, isn't it? But it always surprises me, Silverstone. It's a really funny track, and I guess it's why we have the hardest compounds. But it's a track that is really, really, really stressful for the tyres. And degradation is higher than some tracks, but it's not as high as the stress levels would suggest, if that makes sense. I think it comes down to the fact the surface isn't massively abrasive either. So we're on tyre talk time. Look at this. Terrible. So I think actually it's a weird track, Silverstone, in that regard. So I guess the one stop is possible with those hardest compounds. I mean, last year they took their steps softer, didn't they? 2, 3 and 4. So why? I mean, they never used them because it rained. But... yeah, rain's not a thing tomorrow, is it? That was the other thing I was going to check before we started to wrap things up. Silverstone Circuit weather. Silverstone Circuit weather. No rain. Well, it's overcast. Cloudy, 10% chance all day of some rain, but 26 degrees is the high, and that hits at about, it's during the race. Lights out is 3, and it's 25 degrees at 3 o'clock, so it's not... It's... warm enough, but it's not hot. So yeah, I have to say, by the way, look, if you watch the previews and you get the whole stupid tyre talk thing right, I'm sorry, that tyre talk on Wednesday was my finest by a mile. I don't know how I got there. It was completely by accident. And it was the most stressful experience of my life when it comes to YouTube, because I had to stat check that so many times. I had to go through Wikipedia to make sure I was getting which ones were Silverstone, which were Brands Hatch. I had to work out whether I needed to include the 70th anniversary or not. And it was just, oh my God. And the proofreading and the calculator to work out 3 times bloody 9. It was brilliant. But yes. Is it... Like, yeah, it's toaster. So it says Towcester, but it is toaster. Yeah, because England. basically. But it was the pinnacle of time. I kind of feel like I'd be lynched if I didn't do them, but I kind of think like that's it now. We should stop there with tyre talk, because that is just never going to get any better than that, ever. But I also know Kevin will be at the door kicking it in to beat me up if I don't do them. So yeah, I do stat check. I do, believe it or not. Still a better name than Bicester, yeah, or Bicester, but it is Bicester, yeah. I do often get grief for the way I pronounce Silverstone, but I don't know if that's a Midlands thing or a Northern thing. I know Stuart says Silverstone, but I've always said Silverstone. I ain't saying words proper. Why should I? It was a spectacular tyre talk transition. 3 T's, 3 sets of dry compounds. There you go. Thank you, Kaori. Best thing about it is absolutely no one is fact checking that stuff, but you were stressed about it anyway. Yeah. But this is the thing, Yankee. You know that one person is, and you know that one person would be like, well, actually, I think you're fine. Actually, the 70th anniversary shouldn't count. So. You know there's one. You just know there's one. So I have to make sure it's right, because I'll get 50 comments saying it's great and one comment will say it's wrong, and then I'll just sit and cry for days. So yeah, Silverstone. Like Lincolnshire. I'm from Lincolnshire, but some will go it's Lincolnshire, but no, it's Lincolnshire. Yorkshire, Hampshire, Lancashire, Shropshire. Yeah, that one person be Johnson. Yeah, he's just desperate to trip me up on it. Yeah, but it's I enjoyed it. Tyre talk is, I don't know. I still don't know how it started. I did it once as a joke, and then that was it. It stuck. Birmingham. Yeah. Martha's happy they mentioned Hampshire. Any more comments or questions before I wrap up for today? I will say, Martha, have a fantastic day tomorrow. I hope you enjoy Silverstone. I've only been a couple of times, but for F1, I've been a few times for others, but for F1, fantastic atmosphere. It's not, if you want to sort of keep up with what's happening in the race, it's not maybe the best, but to just enjoy that atmosphere. And I find at Silverstone, a lot of people, they enjoy the race and then can't wait to get into the fan area and the concerts that are on and stuff like that. It's a great weekend. It's a festival atmosphere all weekend. So yeah, have a great time, Marta. Hopefully you can get a good seat as well. Let us know where you get sat, but yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Enjoy. Leicester is the one my American head can never get around. Yeah, add Leicestershire. How would you? I'm intrigued as to how you would pronounce that, Sam Mariners fan. Maybe that's one for another day, but it is. I've heard people say Leicester, but it is Leicester. Like the cheese. Eyes on Hulkenberg, there's no reason but my gut feeling, but I think he may be onto something, perhaps hangover from the first podium. P13, he can score from there, can't he? Worcester or Worcestershire sauce, that's a good one, John T. Leicester, yeah, Leicester, mate. I don't know why we're here. What's happening? What is happening? Cirencester, says the Hatprust. I'll wait for someone to put the Welsh one in, then I'm just going to end the stream for us to try and say it. There's no greater pleasure than watching folks try to pronounce Worcestershire, yeah. But, you know, it's all good fun. Anyway, we've done. I clapped. Why not? If I scared you all, I'm sorry. Let's wrap it up there. Leicester, says Sam Baroness. Leicester. 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 Just go with Leicester. Think Leicester Crest, is it, from GTA 5? GTA mention. Yeah, there you go. Leicester. Lester. Just spell it like that. It's fine. Very quickly, Pascal says double points for Friday will be epic. And apparently Lando's not happy in his interview. Lando's not been happy all weekend, I don't think, apart from when he was doing fish and chips. But anyway, let's wander off over there. That is it for the qualifying watch along for the British Grand Prix. I had a blast today. Really glad I did both streams. So thank you so much to everyone who turned up for the sprint race watch along and everyone who's turned up for the qualifying watch along as well. But I had a lot of fun today. Really enjoyed it and can't wait for the race reaction tomorrow. And honestly, can't wait to get back full time YouTubing rather than other things that are going on. So yeah, really I really appreciate your support as always. Please do drop a like on the stream if you haven't already, and subscribe if you are new. Like I say, Chain Bear's with me tomorrow for the race reaction. Will be live about sort of within half an hour of the checkered flag falling-ish, give or take. It just kind of depends on how quickly I can get things set up and how much I need to drink before I start the stream. Not alcoholic, but as always, it might be. Thank you for watching. I've been Formula Sean, and until next time, goodbye.